All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Lure Lab episode here on the Serious Angler Network. As always, I am your host, the captain, Andrew Full, and today we have a really cool episode coming for you. We have Trevor Lo joining us from Omnia, and we're going to be breaking down and talking about the top baits, rods, and reels to purchase here for you for 2024. Christmas time, people get a lot of gifts that they don't like, and you should probably return those ones that you don't like, take the money, and head on over to Omnia and pick up a bunch of tackle that you probably don't or do need. As fishing junkies, we always need more gear, and we're going to talk about some of the top things to purchase and top baits to look for in 2024 to put a bunch of fish in the boat. And right now it's pretty warm over here in Buffalo, and I'm actually have the itch. I haven't put my boat away yet. I've been too busy steelhead fishing, so I think this week I might get my boat out for one or two last hurrahs out on the lake and maybe drag Bailey out with me. And I think Trevor might want to fly in from Minnesota to come over and catch some big smallmouth on Lake Erie. But without further ado, let's dive right into today's topic. Get Trevor on here. Hey man, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, you as well. I mean, I think about the first time that I asked you to come on this Serious Angler Network, and that was long before, right? You were working at Omnia, and who knew like the relationship would blossom in a way. So, like, first thing and foremost, I want to say thank you for trusting the Serious Angler Network and, being a partner with us for all these years. And we love being able to give back to Omnia. So, thanks for everything from us.
Yeah, you guys are superstars for us. Like I've told Bailey and you guys plenty of times that we at Omnia think super highly of you guys. You guys carry yourselves well. Obviously, you promote us really well, and we're just thrilled to continue working with you guys. So
Yeah, I guess that could be like a surprise thing that we're continuing to work with Omnia through
yeah,
2024. So, I mean, yeah, no, we love it. Like, I find myself every night, like, going through the Omnia app, looking at everything that there has to be and to offer. And there's so many cool widgets and things on there that I think the average angler could really benefit from. And we've talked about it a bunch over on the Serious Angler Network. So you might want to go back and look at some of those episodes to really see what we're talking about. Because today we're talking about rods, reels, and baits. But there's a lot of really cool things with the pro membership and the packages that you can purchase over there to really step up your game as an angler. So go over there and check it out. But, let's dive right in, right? Like, do you want to go from the bottom to the top, like the surprise thing you're talking about? Or do you want to just like dive right in and go? Like, do you want to do reels first? Do you want to do rods? Do you want to do baits?
I think we could start with baits.
Okay.
I think there's a little bit more variety in the baits department. But I had our guy Polish Pete at Omnia kind of pull a list. He's our head of merchandising, so he's got basically all the ins and outs of what we sell the best at Omnia. And obviously there's going to be some things on here that are not really a surprise. And I've got a little note card in front of me that you can't really see. It's off camera, but right big in front on the note card, I'll block the top so you don't get surprised. I just have it, and it just says Senko because obviously Senkos are a huge seller. They
Are you
catch
just
fish
talking like
everywhere.
Yamamoto Senkos, or are you just
That's
talking
correct.
like stick baits in general?
Yeah, the Yamamotos definitely sell the most out of all the other, out of all the stick bait. But I guess, you could argue that every other stick bait is just a variation or I don't want to say a copy, but it's what do they say? Imitation is the highest form of flattery or something like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, I think you hit
So
that right on the head. So I guess on the Senko topic, right? Like, is there a top selling color or like top three colors that you know of that go off the shelves as soon as they come into stock?
yeah, I mean, I would say, obviously green pumpkin, black blue are super popular. Baby bass is another popular one. Watermelon reds are popular. June bugs are popular. So anything along that, spectrum. I don't know if we sell too many of or I'm sure we sell a good amount, but it's not as popular when you look at like the bubblegum color or
Right.
the pearl whites or some of those. But When you're fishing for smallmouth, obviously bubble gum comes into play, smallmouth being side feeders, and then, your smoked purples as well. But, just those standard green pumpkin, green watermelon, and then black and blue, black, that sort
Yeah.
of stuff definitely
So
always sells.
I'll list off my top 3 Senko colors if you list off yours.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 colors in the boat, and that's black and blue flake, green pumpkin, greeny weenie.
Oh, that's I like Greeny Weenie. That's a good one, but that does not make my top 3. Isn't
Mhm.
that kind of crazy? It's in
Sure.
there. It's like my top 5. So my number 1 is Green Pumpkin Amber Lamb. I always
Okay.
catch that's like my favorite one to Texas rig and flip around grass. For docks, if I'm wacky rigging or Texas, I'm almost always throwing black. And then
Hmm.
baby bass if the water's super clear. Like those are
Yeah.
the 3 Senkos I rotate through. And then the honorable mention is Green Pumpkin Magic. Used
Yeah,
to
that's a
only
good
be
one.
able to get them at Dick's, and now they
Mhm.
kind of opened it to everyone, so I would, like, go in there and stockpile and grab the entire rack when I
Sure.
was, like, 19 without any money. Like, "Here's
Yeah.
$100 in Senkos for the year,"
Mhm.
because they
For
just caught
sure.
tons of fish, and if I could get them before everyone else did, I'm, like, above, and I'm ready to go, so I got
Oh, yeah.
something a little bit different. So, yeah,
Yeah.
those are the 4 colors that anyone should have in their box, and
Yeah.
yours. So 7 colors because they were different.
Yep.
Perfect.
We're good
Alright,
there.
number
What's
2.
next?
Yeah.
So off camera here, I've got a box that I picked out at Omnia. Got a little bit of everything in here in terms of what sells good. Obviously, us being in Minnesota, us being paired with our guy Seth Fighter, stealth fighter jigs are always going to sell really well up here. A lot of grass up here in the North Country. These things just they excel really well in the grass. So stealth fighters are up there. Compact tungsten, just a really good jig overall. And
I'm
I guess
actually a
to
fan of that jig. It's a good one. I only
oh
have
yeah,
one color in my box, and it's for very specific situations, but I'm a
oh
huge fan. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
that one's good. And you can always beef it up to the cage fighter as well. It's got a little beefier hook,
mhm.
um, different line tie as well. So um, everybody knows. Let's see if I've got the other ones. I do have the other ones in here. So we'll start with these, I guess. Jackhammers
I can't beat
always.
it.
Yeah, it's tough to beat. Obviously, they're a little bit expensive, but guys that use them, we all swear by them because they just catch fish, and it's a great bait just to catch. Well, one, you catch big fish on it. You can catch tons of fish when you're covering water. But the new one that is really, really catching up to it quick
The Evo.
is the Evo.
I just
Yeah,
bought some myself. I'm really excited.
yeah.
So, while we're on this page, right? Like, can you talk about the main differences real fast between the jackhammer and the Evo if people don't know?
I don't know exactly all the details, but my understanding is that it is essentially the same thing as a jackhammer with uh, cheaper in price components. So it's going to run very similarly to a jackhammer. It's going to chatter almost the same way. It's going to start hunting right away as you turn your handle on your spin on your reel. And like I said, all the parts from my understanding and talking to some of the guys at Omnia on the merchandising team is that this this is just more of a price point version of it. So it's almost the same thing, but you're getting it for much cheaper.
You know, it's better about the Evo in my opinion because I don't have one sitting in front of me, but I pulled it out. It's up there. I was playing around with it. The double hook keeper sold me
Oh
instantly.
yeah,
I'm like for like what are they $6 less than a jackhammer? I
yeah,
think because what nine
hmm
ninety nine for an
hmm
Evo and 15.99 for a jackhammer.
yeah,
Like at 9.99, and I get a double hook keeper, and it's pretty much all the same components. Like you're going to tear a lot less trailers with that double hook
yeah,
keeper. So you're going to
absolutely.
have more longevity out of your single bait. And that's an episode I plan on doing here in the future if I can find somebody to come on and
Sure.
talk about the Evo. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm really excited about that one. I want to go buy a bunch of them. So,
yeah,
yeah, that's a cool
yeah.
one. Thank you.
Yeah, especially when you pair it with Z-Man trailers.
Yeah.
Obviously the Elastec, but that double hook keeper is just extra durability in the sense of you have to rip through two hook keepers to to have that bait to start sliding off on hook sets and on fish. So um, to piggyback off of the jackhammers, the next one on the list of some of the top sellers for this year are the hog
Mm,
farmer spunk shads. So pintails, these are great for just trailers on jackhammers. You've got that nice thick body, but that tail, that pintail is going to have just a ton of action to it, especially with the hunting action of a jackhammer or the new Evo. So obviously, whenever we see orders come in for jackhammers, generally there's a hog farmer pintail spunk shad that's also in that order as well. So a couple bags
yeah.
of those.
So like all the forward-facing sonar craze and everything, and ball head fishing and hover
Hmm.
strolling and all that. Have you seen people buying like the hog farmer with like ball head jig heads too to like
Oh yeah.
so that's something that I feel like could be like something really sneaky, and I feel like somebody's already talked about it. If I look at
Hmm.
that spunk shad and I'm like, yeah, I need to try that on a ball head and shake it
Yeah.
over a fish's face and see what they do. That mid strolling technique is where I
Yep.
feel like it would come in big time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, we don't need to get into forward facing sonar. Everybody has talked about it,
Yeah.
to no end. But it's incredible to see how our merchandising team here, the demand for forward facing sonar baits, whether it's ball head jigs or, straight tail, minnow style baits. It's incredible to see how the merchandising team has really started to, work our product assortment to carry a lot of that stuff
Mhm.
because that's what's in demand right now. You're not seeing other traditional baits, flying off the shelves the way you do with ball head jigs and and you can see it with all the vendors as well. They're coming up with all these new baits, all these new designs, and it's you know forward facing sonar special. This particular bait has a flat side, or the sonar pings off of it better because it's this kind of a material, and that seems to be all the craze right now, especially in the fishing industry.
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming, and it's crazy how many companies are designing baits specifically for it, even though you can fish those baits without forward-facing
Hmm.
sonar, and people are like, "Yeah, I can't buy that bait because it's so, like, specific niche targeted," and I wanted, like just before we move on, I wanna throw that out there. Even if a bait is targeted as forward-facing sonar, you can rig it multiple ways and catch fish on it without
Oh,
forward-facing sonar. So don't be afraid to buy a bait that says "for use with FFS."
yeah.
Like, don't be scared.
And it's absolutely true on the flip side too. Baits that aren't necessarily forward facing sonar baits.
Could be
I
forward-facing,
can't.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, you can throw a chatterbait out there and watch it fall at a fish, and then you can just start working it right back, and they're on it, so,
Yeah. Before
um,
we get on
yeah.
like a wild tangent forward facing sonar rabbit hole here, what opened my eyes to it was I don't know if you remember the Cayuga Lake event where David Mullins was like this is before everyone had it, but he was cranking on him with
Mhm.
forward facing. He was like laughing like a school kid because
Yeah,
he
yeah,
could crack the crankbait out of grass. I got on that bite one time with smallmouth ripping it out of grass, and I'll
sure.
never forget it. It was the most
Mhm.
exhilarating time of my
Yeah,
life, and I'm like, I don't have to blind cast anymore. I just throw it in the grass. I see my bait. I can get them to react and bite.
yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
fun. It's not for everyone, but it's fun.
Well, and that's the thing too, it's like smallmouth are so aggressive, I think I tell everybody my absolute favorite bite in the world, smallmouth on a spinnerbait, because they just crush it,
Yeah.
and when you're talking about ripping, reaction strikes from smallmouth, absolutely, I can't even imagine, if you're ripping crankbaits to grass, how much fun that would be.
Yeah, spinnerbait, crankbait, and then like an oversized topwater. Like are
Hmm.
the three best smallmouth bites you could ever ask for.
Yep, for
Because they
sure.
don't slurp an oversized topwater. They like napalm it.
Hmm.
Like it's gone. So
Yeah, they just completely just
uh, yeah, it's fun.
get after it. So,
So next
um,
point.
yeah. So I guess since we're on the smallmouth topic here a little bit, these two brands aren't they're not the same brand, but they kind of go hand in hand, kind of the way the Z Man and the hog farmer do. But a lot of noise has been being made
Mhm.
by Beast Coast. So this is their open water sniper jig. This thing is awesome, man. Like I had a chance to use it a couple times, and I really like it. It doesn't have a guard on it, so this is, your,
Big
yeah,
favorite.
as you say, open water, you're not coming through a lot of cover or not a lot of vegetation or uh, timber or anything like that. This is your rocks,
Yeah.
your gravel, your sand, that sort of stuff.
Shell
Um,
beds, open water
shell
shell
beds.
beds.
Yep.
Is there a
So
good
yeah,
trailer you like to put on there?
there's a few. I don't know if I want to go into too much detail, but
Oh,
there are a few. I mean,
yeah.
one of my favorites is the Strike King Rage. I don't even know.
Rage
Yeah, I think
chunk?
it's a Rage. No, it's the Scound Bug. If you've seen that one.
Ooh, I have, yeah. See, I'm a
Yeah. So
rage
it's
chunk guy. I've always put
yeah.
a rage chunk on and cut the skirt back even more so it
Hmm.
has a ton of undulation.
Yeah. The Rage Chunk I think it's a little too beefy in the core. For this particular jig, I like to keep it as compact as
Mhm.
possible. So the Scound Bug, it's a little bit thinner in that core, but I still cut a bit of it off just so that it sits really flush with that skirt. But yeah, that thing's awesome. With it being a Rage um, product family, that those little pins are just go crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's a
yeah,
good one.
that's a good one. There's a couple other ones that work really well too, but that one
Trial and
that one
error. Figure it out, people.
that's correct. Well, and ultimately what it comes down to is confidence.
Yeah,
There's guys that'll be like, no, it absolutely needs to be a rage chunk, or oh, it needs to be a little pack of craw or something like
yeah.
that.
Well,
But
and then there's people that will only throw swim bait on it. Like,
yeah,
it's endless, like, throwing I feel like especially that OW sniper jig by Beast Coast, it's replaced another competitor's jig like tenfold because it has a much better hook in it. You can beef up the line on it and not worry about breaking the hook on it.
yeah,
It's a really complete good tungsten jig, and I think I don't know, is Omnia carrying the non-tungsten ones that they
yeah.
came out with or
They just got in earlier this week or something like that. So I think we
perfect.
did a just landed video for Omnia on that one, and I can't remember exactly what they called it. But yeah, I know for a fact that we
Yeah.
do have that one.
So if you're not anti-tungsten, but tungsten's a little bit too expensive for you, you can take a step back and purchase the lead version, which is going to
Hmm.
work just as well. You're just not going to have as much sensitivity and that real small, tiny, compact profile as a
Hmm.
tungsten jig would give you. Yeah, I love the Beast Coast lineup. Like in my jig box, I have the fighter jig, of course, but like the little Magnum and the OW sniper,
Hmm.
like literally have
Yeah,
taken over tenfold in my jig box.
yeah.
I've gone from fishing a big bulky jig to like little tiny compact jigs. And I feel like I get just as big of
Hmm.
bites and even more. So I love it.
And to your point, the nice thing is, you can put 20-pound test on it and just
Hmm.
crack them.
Hmm.
That was such a breath of fresh air for me. This year. Generally speaking, we're fishing up on Mille Lacs. It's a lot of Ned rig stuff, drop shotting, a little swim bait, that sort of deal, and all of that is done on 8-pound tests with 10-pound braid main line and spinning rods, and you're letting fish play out. But to have a big half-ounce football jig, or it's not even big, but it's a half-ounce football jig on 20-pound test, and when they thump it, you just lean into them, boat flip them, everything. So
Yeah, I love it when
always
I
fun.
can get them to eat that football jig on Erie in like 40 foot of water. I'll use like a 7.6 medium heavy with like 17-pound fluoro, and I
Yeah,
boat flip like a 5.5, and everyone in the group will be like, "What is he doing over there?"
that's awesome.
They're
Yeah.
like, "Did you really just?" I'm like, "Yes." Don't ask questions.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Just sit back and watch.
yeah, just hit them and reel. It's great.
Yep. Mhm. Alright, moving on to the next. Another smallmouth, I guess, brand is, Great Lakes Finesse. This is their snack craw. This thing has really blown up, even on, like, the Elite Series as they went up to, St. Lawrence and all that sort of stuff, but this thing is a fish catcher. I mean, and
Mhm.
I can say that from experience, and just being able to put fish in the boat on the thing. The only challenge is finding a hook that's small enough to fit that little deal. Because looking at the package, what is this thing? Let's see,
It's like
2.1 inches.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's itty bitty, and you've got to literally find like just the perfect little ball head jig, or yeah, just to get it
I
to fit
found the
that.
perfect size for that. I can actually make it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
With
so
your do it mold stuff?
Do It Molds has a
Yeah.
jig head cavity that you can make with a Gamakatsu 604 one-aught. It fits it
Yep.
perfectly. So,
Sweet.
yeah, a little Do It Molds plug here on the Omnia show. Sorry, Trevor. But
No,
yeah,
you're good.
you guys carry some Do It Mold stuff, right, in stock? So
I think so.
I don't
Yeah.
know about
Yeah.
molds, but I know you do carry some of the stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think our merchandising team has been in talks with their team, so there might be product expansion coming into our assortment at some point in time soon.
that'd be fantastic. So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. But yeah, if you want to get into tackle creation and pour your own jig heads, the 604 and the round ball jig head mold is good. It fits that snack craw and the drop minnow really well, which is
Hmm.
the other Great Lakes one
Sure.
that I really like is the drop
Yep.
minnow.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Sneaky good. Like we don't talk about that too much.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of our list. I asked Polish Pete to pull, 5 or 6 of our best sellers from this year. And I think it covers pretty good in terms of largemouth and smallmouth.
Mhm.
Obviously, our customers are doing a bit of both. But if you need staples for each, the fighter jig is great because you can fish around every sort of cover. You got your chatterbait, obviously, and then you've got some smallmouth options as well to go catch those brown ones. So
Awesome. So before we round it out, right? Like I think there's a couple reels and a rod or two that you wanted to chat about.
yeah, yeah.
So
So we can get into the reels. Our best selling reel, kind of by no surprise. I mean, for somebody as myself who has used these for a while now,
can I take a
um,
guess?
go ahead, take
It's
a
gonna be
guess.
one or two things. It's gonna be an SLX or like a Tatula SV.
It's a Tatula SV. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, this
Yeah,
this this thing sells itself, Um, I've worked with Daiwa for a number of years now, and this reel is like my workhorse reel. I've got so many of these just because they work so well.
this is my workhorse. I
Yeah,
won't
that's a good
lie.
one.
I got quite a few zillion SVs. I got
Yeah, that's a
the
good one.
US ones that I purchased from Omnia, but I also have some JDM ones too.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
wicked.
that's definitely the step up for
Yeah.
sure. They've got
And
that
lots of
hyperdrive.
SV2W103s.
Yeah, but yeah, the Tatula SV103s, those are great. Obviously they come at a price point that's not super high, but not super low either. But great all around, especially for people that are just getting into bait casting. Makes backlash mitigation super easy. Very user friendly reel, and like I said, it's just a tried and true performer. Everybody that uses it loves it. I never heard anybody say anything bad about that reel. So it just continues to sell, and we'll continue to carry it.
Yeah.
So
And every once in a while too, like I think it's if you're on the email list, right? Or the premier program, premium program, like
mhm.
sometimes there's like special deals and stuff that come out with
Yeah,
Iowa stuff, right?
yeah, that's a little bit of a plug for our premium program, our membership. So essentially, it's $29 a year for Omnia Premium, and that gives you 10% back on all your purchases as tackle credit on Omnia. You also get free shipping on all your orders, and then as Andy mentioned here, we've got premium member exclusive sales. So if you're a premium member, you might get an email in your inbox that says, "Hey, these are this specific reel, this specific bait is exclusive for you guys at a very very uh, encouraging price."
Yeah.
Is a good
I,
way to put
I won't
it.
lie, before we became partnered with Omnia, I loved the premium program because I bet, ooh, I get me a Tatula reel, like, or I can get this, like, oh, that's a really good deal on that because it's just an awesome program. I love all the stuff that you guys do. It's above and beyond what tackle stores normally will do for their customers. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's really cool to see everything that happens there, plus all the other stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, yeah, it's just one way we give back to our customers for obviously shopping with us and being loyal to us. So I've got a spinning reel in the box,
Mhm.
and I wonder if you can guess what this one is. I'll give you a clue. Um, it's I'm trying to think how can I phrase this so that it just doesn't give it away. It's It's I guess you would say it's, a little bit higher end. It's not, in the $100 range, but it's, one of the nicer higher end spinning reels from another very reputable brand in the industry.
It's probably Stratic.
It's close.
It's the Stratic, or what's the one right above it? There's too many Shimano's, and they all start with S's.
This one doesn't start with an S.
Is it the TP, the Twin Power?
No,
Uh,
right underneath that one.
gosh, way too many. Just show the people. Vanford. I knew
Yep,
it's the one that
yep.
replaced the Stratic. See,
Basically,
I
yeah,
was right there. All right, I actually had a
yeah,
Vanford. They're good
yeah.
reels.
Yeah, so the Vanfords are they're awesome. They're very lightweight, they're super smooth. Shimano has been, obviously very well known for just the quality and detail in their products, uh, especially their spinning reels for a very, very long time. So no surprise that the Vanford is a customer favorite at Omnia. It continues to do a good job at catching fish, and their drags are really nice too. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. All right. Is that it for reels, or is there
That's
an
it for
honorable
reels.
mention? All right, so we have a casting and a spinning rod, I would assume.
Yeah, I
Or
think
is
that's
it the same
accurate.
brand for
Well,
both?
it is not the same brand for both. So I didn't grab any rods from the warehouse to bring to my house for the show.
Well, that's
So
quite
I figured I'd
cumbersome,
just
so I
talk
don't
about.
blame you.
Yeah, and everybody can go on our site, omniafishing.com, and just pull up the search bar. But the number one selling rod family at Omnia currently is the Daiwa Tatula Elite Series rods. Obviously, those are designed by Daiwa pros. You got Seth, Randy, Patrick, the Johnston brothers, Brent Ayler, Ish Monroe, and Takahiro. And forgive me if I'm missing anybody, but they have their signature lineups that are technique specific. You've got the ones with AGS guides and the ones without them. But just a super super awesome lineup of rods. Very lightweight, very ergonomic, and yeah, they cover basically all your bases in terms of every technique that you can imagine, and they're catered specifically to or by the guy that specializes in that technique. So really cool. Great lineup of rods. I don't know if you have any of those, but I've got a bunch of them, and I absolutely love them.
I've actually used a few of them. I have all alpha angler rods, so unfortunately I don't
Yeah,
have any like rods outside, but I have used the Tatulas. I really like the AGSs. I think the one I've used the most is the 7.6 fighter spinning rod.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
good stick. You can do a
yeah.
lot of things really well.
hmm Yeah, that's an awesome little hair jig rod. I also it doubles as a spy bait rod for me, just because you can really get that nice long launch out of it. Some guys they like it for Nico rigging, Ned rigging. Me personally, I don't think I need that long of a rod to throw a Ned rig. But yeah, I definitely see how that could work. But
I used it for heavy drop shots casting away from the boat
sure.
with like the hook through, like not like Texas rig, but going through it,
hmm
like
Yeah.
with the owner cover shot two out with
Yep.
like a baby Z2. That's what I would use it for, is a heavy
Yeah.
drop shot rig with like 8-pound fluoro, so I could really snap out a far cast and be
hmm
able to hook
For
them
sure.
in at a long distance and really drive it home.
Yep. Yep.
That's the
You get
one
that leverage for sure.
benefit of the long
Cool.
rod. So, what is the number one selling casting rod? And you said it would be a surprise. So I'm
So,
curious.
so it's not a casting rod. So the
Oh,
Tatula Elite rod family is the one where I think covers the casting and spinning. But
okay. Sorry.
surprisingly enough, it's the 8 foot ACC crappie sticks rod.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I did
So
not see that coming.
yeah. So a lot of our customers or a lot of Omnia fans, they see us as bass fishing tackle.
Mhm.
But we have recently, I would say in this last year and a half or so, expanded into the crappie scene. And yeah, ACC crappie sticks has come on, and we carry their products. And man, I tell you what, those crappie boys down south love some ACC crappie sticks, man. You
I feel
know,
like you're shipping them all over down south, aren't you?
yeah, it's amazing. Those green sticks, they sell. So, yeah,
So,
those it's always interesting, when we're in the warehouse at Omnia and, this, you got 8-foot sticks for crappies, and then sometimes you see these like 15, 18-foot sticks. And those are the guys that are, they're doing that. I don't even know what they call them, but it's like dipping,
yeah.
it literally is
Lift
dipping a
it up.
rod and yeah, lifting up, and it's amazing. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a wild
I did not
curveball
see
that
that
I wasn't
coming.
expecting. Yeah, for sure.
I wonder
So
how many
and
bass guys are like trying to use crappie rods to like drop shot with like 2 pound test or something wild.
man, I tell you what, looking at some of the crappies they catch down in like Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Arkansas,
Those are big
Missouri.
dogs, man.
Holy cow, man! They're like 2.5, 3 pound
Yeah.
crappies. I mean, they're eating 3, 4 inch paddle tails at times. It's pretty incredible, and yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so the crappie scene, for those that don't realize, or guys like myself that are up here, we think of a 12-inch, 13-inch crappie. We're like, dang, that's a good crappie, but those guys down there, they don't play, man.
They're
Those
like, "That's a
crappie guys
baby."
down there, that's a baby. I mean, they're pulling in 18 inchers that are just monsters, and yeah, it's that
Good eating
that
right there.
crappie scene is, and Pete and I have talked about it, and we may have talked about it on Serious Angler before. Is like, you want to know who really knows how to use their electronics? It's those crappie guys.
Uh,
Yeah, you talking about live scoping? Those guys are good at live scoping, like
it's
really good.
unreal. Like, I always
Yeah.
look at crappie boats, and they'll have, like, 8 rods out on the front of the
Hmm.
rod holders, and you can see them like, panning around, like, the boat will shift, and all of a sudden, it's like, you're like, "Oh my god.
Spider rigging.
Get
Yeah.
out of here." Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's amazing.
definitely
Those
like
guys,
fun.
they've got it dialed, in terms of, we've talked to a lot of crappie guys, and when you're using live scope, you're trying to stay as far away as from the crappies as you can, but you still got to just put that bait right on their nose and just hang it right there, and then they'll just come and just pluck it, but it's amazing because the technology that goes into crappie fishing, especially on the competitive side of crappie fishing.
Mhm.
Like, we think bass fishing's wild with 4 graphs on the front, and all this, technology and all these different transducers and things, but I feel like crappie fishing is that times 10. You've got uh little, you know, they've got like little propellers or little motors on their power poles and their shallow water anchors that just help back up their boats,
It's
while they
unreal.
can stay, facing forward, and it's just incredible. The all of that, and the common saying in bass fishing, all that just to catch little green fish, but it's like all that just to catch some crappies,
Yeah. Hey, I
So
mean, they're putting them on the plate a lot of times to eat dinner, and we're out there catch and release. So,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I definitely understand it. I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, you watch what goes into fishing some of those crappie tournaments, and just the technique that comes into play, and it's pretty astounding.
Yeah, absolutely. Best luck to all the crappie guys. I hope they don't like catch them all.
Yeah,
I see like the amounts of crappie that some of those guys catch, and it's unreal. But I mean, I
yep,
would eat them. They probably taste really good on a taco. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you being a guide, myself having guided in the past too, it's like I wonder how those guides, if they have clients that are booking with them all summer long or all spring long, and each client takes home whatever 25 crappies. It's like, how do you know that there's going to be any left if you go back, later in the week? It's pretty
yeah, and
amazing, but
sometimes like too, I guess like from my understanding is sometimes crappies will just skip spawns if the
wow.
conditions aren't right. So it's like, woo, it can be really detrimental to a
Hmm.
population.
For
So
sure.
that the environmental factors aren't correct. But that's why we stick
Hmm.
to bass fishing. So
That's correct. Makes it easier for
yeah.
us.
So Trevor, is there anything else that you want to hit on here before I let you run for the day?
No, man, I think that's it. Obviously, with us being Omnia, we're, like I said, we're super thrilled to be working with you guys again. One of our big focus areas for this upcoming year is our new Premium Pro membership. So it's an app subscription in our app. So essentially, you get everything with premium that we mentioned earlier, and then we include these new innovative map layers into that you get access to. So contours, bottom hardness, vegetation, water temperature, water clarity, and all of that. You can overlay weather on top of it too. So it brings all the different functions of the numerous apps on your phone or your device all into one place. It just makes it super easy for anglers to break down water much more efficiently.
I love that Premium Pro. I look at bottom hardness multiple times a day, I feel like. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's only gonna get better. We've got Navionics coming out here in the next week or so, right before the end of, or I guess the beginning of next year, 2024. So, that's super exciting, and yeah, we're constantly working to, update it and add new really cool, function, and we'd love to get feedback on it. So anything that you guys, wanna let us know about it, please do. We'll definitely take it into account because we wanna make a product that is, meets your needs.
Awesome. Well, make sure you go over and flood the Omnia inbox with requests and thoughts about the Premium Pro features, especially for the lake features. It's really good stuff. So, but yeah, Trevor, thanks again for coming on. I look forward to getting you on here again in the future, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of episodes on the Serious Angler Network where we'll have you on again. So, thanks for everything, and I hope you have a good day, man.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate the time and always a pleasure to be on the show.
Anytime, anything you need, let us know, and we'll get it done for you guys. So,
Yeah,
we'll chat
likewise.
soon. All right, man.
Sounds good.
Have a good
See
one.
ya.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode here on the Lure Lab, talking about all the top baits, rods, and reels that get bought on Omnia and things that you, if you don't have, you should have in your tackle box going forward, your boat, your kayak. And as always, everything is going to be listed down in the description. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform, it's all down below in the description. If you're here on YouTube or listening on YouTube, it's also down in the description. You can hit that link, head right on over to Omnia, shop away, and have some fun looking at all the various baits, rods, and reels that they have in stock, plus everything else, tons of accessories and line to fit everything you need to put in your boat. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate everyone. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, maybe what you're looking to purchase for 2024, and we'll see you all next week.